Hello, my name is NJ Franco, and these are my thoughts on Cursed Cocktails by S.L. Rowland. Now, first off, there is a bit of foul language in this book, so if you are offended by foul language, just please keep that in mind. This book is about a umbral elf named Rhoren who retires from the Northern Guard and decides to spend his retirement opening up a bar based off of a little notebook of cocktail recipes that his father left him. And while Rhoren was in the Northern Guard, he was what was known to be a blood mage. And blood mages have this ability to sense other creatures and life forms around them by sensing their blood, and then they can also use their blood magic to stop someone's heart, basically like almost like telepathically, like squeeze their heart until it stops. And the downside to being a blood mage, though, is the more you use your blood magic, you start to suffer from great amounts of pain in your joints and your nerves and that sort of thing. And actually, S.L. Rowland, the author of the book, he got the inspiration for that side effect of blood magic by a real life medical condition that he has. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, he's constantly in pain. He's got some kind of medical condition that causes him a great deal of pain, and he's always having to get treatment for it and this, that, whatever. We're not going to get too much into it. But anyway, more onto the actual bar that Rhoren opens with his friend. He actually meets somebody at this town. His name is Callum, and he is a ex-bartender, so he's able to use basically Callum's experience being a bartender and Rhoren's cocktail book to open up this bar together as two partners. Now, what I really like about this book, my favorite thing about it, is that there's actual cocktail recipes in this book. So if you don't know much about making cocktails, this kind of like tells you how to make some very common cocktails. But S.L. Rowland basically takes cocktails of today and then renames them, but it's basically the same thing. So, like for instance, here's a couple of cocktails I managed to recognize. I'm not a cocktail expert, but here's a handful that I was able to read in the book, and I'm like, oh, that's what this is. So, for instance, a orange fizz in their universe is a mimosa in our universe. A Nanderlin mule in their universe is a Moscow mule in ours. And I guess Nelderland is the Russia of this universe. Even though the Moscow mule was actually not invented in Russia, but that's a whole thing. And the last one that I recognized was initially the Eastborne sour. When I read that, I'm like, oh, this must be a whiskey sour. I've never had a whiskey sour, but I've heard of them. So I actually hopped on Google and looked up what a whiskey sour was, and it didn't quite match what the Eastbourne sour was being described as. So I did a little bit more digging, and apparently the Eastbourne sour is closer to a New York sour. So I guess that's a thing. But yeah, so it's got different cocktails from our universe that S.L. Rowland then just renamed and put in this universe. So if you're new to cocktails and whatnot, and want some inspiration, this book will actually help you learn some basic recipes of our universe. There was also towards the end a black rum that came in a bottle with a wide base, had two little handles up by the top, and as they described this thing, I was kind of like, oh, that's Kraken rum. So they didn't call it Kraken rum, but as he described it, I'm like, that's a bottle of Kraken, basically, and they said there was like an octopus or a squid or something. I'm like, yeah, he just basically made Kraken. So that was, yeah, like I said, one more thing that he pulled from our universe and put into there. And there's so much more I want to say about this book. I freaking love this book. In fact, Cursed Cocktails, for the longest time, was actually my number one favorite book by S.L. Rowland. Although now, There Be Dragons Here, which I just recently reviewed, I'll put a link down there, but There Be Dragons Here, his most recent book as of now, might be my new favorite book by him. But up until now, my favorite book was Cursed Cocktails. I freaking love this thing. And there's so much more I want to say about it, but I'm trying really hard to have this be a spoiler-free booktube channel, so I'm not going to say anything else because it'll be a spoiler. I'll just end it by saying this. If you loved Legends and Lattes, give this book a shot, okay? Because one, S.L. Rowland has said that he is heavily inspired by Legends and Lattes to write this book. So if you like Legends and Lattes, give this book a shot, because it's basically, instead of it being a coffee shop being run by a retired adventurer, it's a bar run by a retired military guy. So if you like that kind of story and you want more, and just fantasy characters opening up modern day establishments in their own fantasy world like Legends and Lattes, then I would definitely highly recommend checking this book out. I want to say so much more about it, like I said, but I can't, because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm kind of regretting deciding to make this a spoiler-free channel, but now I can do it. So yeah, that's it. Just love this book. Highly recommend it. Check it out. But anyway, I've said enough. So that's it for me. So until next time, remember, nothing in life is free except for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See ya.